Some people leave a mark on our lives and then disappear. Donald Trump, returning from a luxury event on a rainy New York night, had no idea that he was about to meet someone who had once changed his life in a way he had long forgotten. This man was the recipient of a small act of kindness from Trump years ago. But what Trump didn't realize was that this kindness had changed the man's life forever. Donald Trump stepped out of the hotel, the cold night air biting at his skin. Raindrops hit the collar of his tailored suit as he glanced at the sleek black car waiting for him. Just as his driver opened the door, something caught his eye. A man sat hunched on the curb, shivering in an old military jacket, his hands cupped together for warmth. Beside him was a small, worn backpack, his gaze distant, lost in thought. There was something familiar about this man. Trump hesitated. His instinct told him to ignore it, to get into his car and leave. But something deep inside pulled him toward the man instead. "Hey buddy, are you okay?" Trump asked, tilting his umbrella slightly. The man slowly looked up, and in that moment, Trump felt a strange sensation. He had seen those eyes before. The man blinked a few times, as if waking from a dream. Then, in a quiet, unsteady voice, he whispered, "You don't remember me, do you?" Trump narrowed his eyes. Was he supposed to? He studied the man's features' deep lines, weary eyes. Something underneath it, all that felt familiar. The man gave a small, tired smile. "Charity gala, 20 years ago. You gave me a chance." And suddenly, the doors of Trump's memory opened. Years ago, Trump had been the keynote speaker at a charity gala raising funds for veterans. Among the guests was a young soldier. His name was Mark. He had just returned from Iraq, struggling to reintegrate into civilian life. With barely any money in his pocket and his dreams slipping through his fingers, he had come to the event hoping for a miracle. At the end of the night, as guests began leaving, Trump had noticed Mark standing alone in the corner, gripping a letter. Something had made him walk over. A brief conversation, a small gesture, a job offer. That was all it took. And that night became the turning point in Mark's life. Trump remembered now. But what he didn't remember was what happened after that night. Mark took a deep breath. "You gave me a chance, Mr. Trump. You told me to call your office the next day. I did. And you kept your word." Mark had started working shortly after. For a while, life had been good. But then, the war he thought he had left behind followed him home. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, crept in. Sleepless nights, dark thoughts. Over time, everything crumbled. He lost his job. His relationships fell apart. And now, here he was in the same streets where he once dreamed of a new life. Trump listened, without interrupting. Then, after a moment, he placed a firm hand on Mark's shoulder. "If I gave you a chance then, why wouldn't I give you another one now?" Mark's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" Trump smirked. "Have I ever said something I didn't mean?" The rain kept falling, but suddenly, it didn't feel as cold anymore. "Strong people," Trump said, "are the ones who know how to get back up when they fall. And I'm going to help you stand again." For the first time in years, Mark felt something stir inside him. Something he thought he had lost, a sense of belonging. That night, standing in the pouring rain, he was given a second chance. Some people perform acts of kindness and forget them, but some kindnesses are never forgotten. Because sometimes, all it takes to change a life is one outstretched hand. And that night, Donald Trump extended his hand once more, not just as a businessman, but as a leader. If this story moved you, subscribe to our channel for more inspiring real-life stories.